What if your worst nightmare wasn't just a dream? What if it was a warning, a glimpse into the future, or a message from something beyond? Tonight we'll uncover 3 terrifying true stories where dreams didn't stay in the mind. They bled into reality. Stick around till the end, because one of these dreams may just change the way you look at your own. Story 1. The Fire Dream. In 2016, Sandra, a 29-year-old single mother in New Jersey, was living in a modest 3rd-floor apartment with her 2-year-old daughter, Lily. Life was tough, but manageable. She worked 2 jobs and juggled daycare, bills, and night classes. One night, after a particularly exhausting day, Sandra collapsed into bed. That night she had a dream that jolted her awake. In it, she was asleep when the room filled with smoke. She stumbled out into the hallway holding Lily, coughing, unable to see. Flames chased her down the stairwell, and just before reaching the exit, a support beam crashed down in front of her, blocking her path. In her dream, she screamed for help, but nobody came. Sandra woke up at 3:11 a.m. Her heart was racing. She could still smell the smoke. It felt real, too real. She brushed it off as stress or maybe a movie memory, but a strange instinct told her not to ignore it. By morning, she packed a small bag and took Lily to her sister's place across town, promising she'd be back after work. That night, while she and her daughter were safe miles away, Sandra's phone lit up with missed calls and texts. Her building was on fire. The fire had started due to faulty wiring in a basement storage unit. Flames had spread rapidly, and the fire department arrived just in time to prevent casualties. But the 3rd floor, her apartment, was completely destroyed. Investigators estimated the fire started around 3:15 a.m., just minutes after her nightmare woke her up. To this day, Sandra believes the dream was a warning, not from her mind, but from something trying to protect her. Story 2. The Boy in the Road. Chris, a 42-year-old delivery driver in rural Texas, was used to long, lonely highways. But something strange began happening in 2019. He started having the same dream, again and again. In the dream, he's driving through a back road near an abandoned farm, sun just starting to set. As he turns a sharp corner, a red ball bounces across the road. A split second later, a young boy, maybe 5 or 6, runs into the street chasing it. Chris slams on the brakes, but it's always too late. The child disappears beneath the bumper, and he wakes up screaming. He had this dream every few nights for 2 weeks. Shaken, Chris began rerouting his trips to avoid that particular area. He even told his wife about the dream, laughing it off, but deep down he couldn't shake the guilt, as if it had already happened. One rainy evening, the highway he usually took was closed for construction. With no choice, he had to take the old route through the dream road. As he approached the curve, dread filled his chest. He slowed to 25 miles per hour, half the speed limit. Every tree, every post, every shadow looked exactly like the dream. He clenched the wheel. Then, it happened. A red ball rolled into the road. Then a child ran after it. But this time, because he was going so slow, Chris stopped just in time, inches from the boy. A woman screamed from a nearby yard and rushed over. The boy had wandered off while she was on the phone. Chris tried to speak but couldn't. It felt like he had just escaped fate. Was the dream a premonition? A warning from the universe? Or something else entirely? All he knew was he would never ignore his dreams again. Story 3. The Woman in the Mirror. Lena was a 22-year-old art student who had just moved into an old Victorian home-turned rental unit in upstate New York. The house was old but charming, filled with antique mirrors, faded wallpapers, and creaking floors. Soon after moving in, Lena began dating an older man named Caleb. He was charismatic, confident, and very protective. But protective quickly turned into possessive, then manipulative. At first she brushed off the red flags, but then the dreams began. In the first dream, Lena stood in front of her bathroom mirror. Her reflection was wrong. Her eyes were blackened, her lips stitched shut. An old woman stood behind her, dressed in Victorian clothing, pale as death. The woman whispered, "He will hurt you. Leave now." Lena would wake up trembling, but the dream came back, each time more vivid. The woman in the mirror would appear closer, sometimes even grabbing Lena's shoulder in the reflection. Things got worse with Caleb. He began showing up uninvited, checking her phone, even raising his voice in public. One night, after an explosive argument, Lena locked herself in the bathroom to cry. She looked into the mirror and saw the old woman standing right behind her. Only this time, it wasn't a dream. The air grew cold, the lights flickered, and the woman mouthed, "Run!" Lena didn't wait. She packed a bag and fled to a friend's house. 2 days later, Caleb was arrested after attacking another ex-girlfriend who had filed a restraining order. Lena was in shock. Was the woman in the mirror a ghost, a protective spirit, or a part of her subconscious screaming to be heard? Whatever she was, she saved Lena's life. Dreams are supposed to be harmless, fiction, forgotten fragments of the mind. But what if they're warnings, messages, a different kind of truth? Which of these stories made your heart race the most? Have you ever had a dream that felt like a glimpse of the future? Let us know in the comments. And remember, when dreams feel too real, maybe they are. Subscribe for more true horror stories before your next dream becomes your last.